Response video to a couple of videos, unfortunately. Great Text and Heroin Church. Yeah, you know, cut from the same cloth nowadays. So anyway, I paid part of this Great Text video, just couldn't stand it. So, alright, he's ragging on this whole first 3 minutes so far. He's just ragging about old news. You know, the old Joneser thing with the Hitler and the Star of David, which he apparently just can't figure out that that's the part that really bothered me. And that there was a guy called the YouTube Police, who I never DMCA'd, who used a mannequin and had elaborate scenes and marbles in my head and all that kind of crap, and I even favorited that video. It's not about people playing games or being assholes. I wanted there to be a ruling about what you can do with content, because I felt like my video content is my property. Somebody can't steal it, turn it into a spitball, and then throw it at my house. That's bullshit. You know what I mean? They have to get their own shit and throw it. They can't use my shit and throw it. Okay? It's, you know, I don't know how to metaphor this for you, but it's like they can't pull the door off my car and then bash my car with my car door. Or whatever. I mean, you're just too stupid to figure that out. You really are just too stupid, right? And you're going to make a comparison between writing text over a video image, you know, writing things, and taking somebody's face and photoshopping it into another image. I mean, you do look a little bit like Adolf Hitler. It would be really easy to do. And I could just, you know, put little symbols of, you know, have more children so I can molest them. And, you know, we can play that game if you want me to play the game, okay? I mean, I filed a lawsuit because I wanted a legal decision. I didn't get one. So, you know, it's game over in that sense. So it's open season. I'm just saying it would have been really great to have a law, to have some sort of clarity. But you're too stupid to understand that. And you're so petty. You're just so fucking petty to be dragging that old shit up. You drunken, debaucherous, stupid, heathenistic, selfish, fat, ugly pig.
What's missing in your brain that's stopping you from understanding this? Why can't you recognize
Oh, can't you see? No. Can't you see just how patronizing you are? This psychobabble bullshit. People can analyze you too. You see your reaction to Biodegradable Man, who does a little bit of theater at your expense, and you go nuts over it. I mean, this is just such crap. Will you quit with this psychobabble crap and actually make a fucking coherent argument? I mean, it seems like every subject that is dirt simple, like the biology, which is a replicating molecule, you try to make complicated. And complex subjects like social interaction and trying to find a mechanism through which people with diverse interest and experience can actually find some mechanism with which they can resolve their differences, that you try to make too fucking simple. Alright? Child molesters, even though there's a deterministic universe, are guilty. People should be in fucking jail for their fucking crimes, asshole. I mean, you're a defender of assholes and idiots, and yet you sit there and go out of your way, you know, for this stupid nonsense. You're like some jackass who's like defending jaywalking for some stupid reason because you think it's it's a freedom, a right. People have the right to jaywalk. Fuck you. You're just stupid. So just cut with this fucking psychobabble shit, you stupid drunken fat pig who wants to die. Jeez, I'm just so sick of it. Shut up, idiot.
What's a blind spots out of those fucking idiots? It's just like they can't even recognise what's being said to them.
Oh, yeah, so let's just throw it back at you. I'm rubber, you're glue. Okay. Oh, man, those fucking idiots. I mean, how can't they get this simple psychology that they're completely owned by their subjective, idiotically conditioned social desires, and instead of defending that nonsense, they'll just acknowledge that everybody's owned by social desires, and you all ought to get over your fucking selves. You're just one initiation of a stupid, idiotic syndrome that has captivated psychology. Grow the fuck up, you fatties. Yeah, he says he's not fat. He has thick skin. which may be a bit of humor on his part, but yeah, that's where the fat is in the skin. Yeah, you have fat skin, not thick skin.
Unless it's something that they can moralize or chastise you for saying, you know, if you say something, it'll be
again, and moralizing. Nobody's using this word. You're just taking the advantage. You just want to do that, okay? You know that's not the argument. You know the arguments are built out of some sort of ethical equation, and yet because you want to play the game, you want to always drag it back to something. You know, you're the ultimate builder of straw men. Everything you talk is a straw man. It's all about psychology straw, and you will never go near the fucking actual argument, as you demonstrated in your Benatar, whatever you called it. That was just a complete crap. You ignored the fundamental point, which is that the future will exist, you stupid jackass.
And what they'll present to you as your argument will be just a complete bastardization of what you said. And the thing is, it'll just be a projection of what they believe, you know?
Yeah, well, you're the one projecting pretty hard here. Like, and again, and complete bastardization, I guess I would qualify as calling what I did to you photoshopping, when all I did was write text on an image. Versus people who have, you know, put tampons in people's mouths and have shit coming out of their face and do all kinds of other shit, and you goddamn know it. And so, what is that? Is that being a fair cop? No, it's not being a fair cop. So, you know, psychotic, heal thyself.
It'll just be a projection of what they believe. And
could you talk slower?
You know, I mean, I care about cancer victims, really, but. You know, I care enough about people to ask them their opinion on something.
Yeah, this whole I care enough. I care. Who cares? Who the fuck cares? Who cares how much you care about people? Who cares what the fuck you do in your stupid, idiotic, moronic life? I don't give a fuck. What I care about is whether people can actually make a fucking argument without getting personal every fucking time. And you're incapable of that, you stupid fuck. And then you whine like a fucking goddamn baby because somebody sits there and buffoons you. Buffoons your psychology. Laughs at it. Mocks it. You're just such a fucking hypocrite.
If they want to live or die, isn't decided by what illness they have or some...
Oh, what an idiot. So what? So anybody listening, do you really get this? He's saying whether people live or die isn't going to be decided by whether they have some sort of incentive, strong incentive to get the fuck out. So people who kill themselves after they get a cancer diagnosis or you know, decide not to get the treatment and die, you know, through some overdose or some other thing, it wasn't the fact that they got a diagnosis that is the reason why they died. I mean, this is just so stupid. Old people don't die because they're sick. No, they die because you know, I don't know, they stepped on a crack on a sidewalk. Fuck you, idiot.
Tense that we can measure their suffering, you know, like we can get a sufferingoscope and measure their suffering and then determine whether they should live or die or not.
Nobody's suggesting we do that, you stupid shit. So again, you're calling that a fair paraphrase of an argument? Who's making an argument about euthanasia? That's not on the table. We don't. That's completely irrelevant. That's a social decision. In any case, yeah, and so it'll be made based on what is a collective experience. But I mean, ideally, it'd be made based on an individual preference. Everybody would fill out a living will and explain exactly how much crap they're willing to invest in their life. But we know the balance of life is how addicted are you? What do you have something to complete, something to accomplish, something to do? Are you just damn urgent? You need to go find some little snot-nosed brat to wipe some snot out of their nose, or whatever the fuck you think you need to do. Or are you done? And the more done you are, the less you're going to put up with. It's not a complicated equation. The less addicted you are, the fewer old ladies you'll bash over the head with a brick to get your money for your stupid drugs.
How about just asking people? How about asking somebody who's got cancer whether they want to go and live in or not? You know, how about asking them? No, did that not occur to you? Or you just...
Again, you're so stupid. I mean, this is not the fucking argument. It really isn't the fucking argument. This is not on the table. Okay? No, or whatever. This is just so stupid. Who is suggesting we shouldn't ask people? Who's suggesting that? Yeah, no one.
It's assumed because society says that's the worst thing that could happen. That, you know, obviously you wouldn't want to live, therefore nobody would want to live. You know, and even if they do want to live, it's because they're addicted, because they're morons. So the cancer victims...
Again, so you're just going to keep ignoring the argument, okay? The imposition is deciding you're competent to do these experiments, okay? To sit there and, like I said, we don't even allow people to own a gorilla colony unless they get a permit to do it. Unless they can explain exactly how they got this thing covered, and that our tigers or lions, and these things aren't going to get loose, and this isn't going to happen, and that isn't going to happen. They have to have plans and contingencies. And we just allow, by circumstance, because of biology and religion, people to have free right to do these biological life-affirming experiments, and we don't allow them to do the life-not-affirming experiments. And it's about religion, Great Tex. It's not about anything else. The reason why people aren't asked is because people aren't allowed to answer, because God has already answered these questions for most people. And that's the obstacle. You fuck. You dumb, ignorant, stupid fuck. You don't even know what an atheist is. Atheists have to take responsibility for the fact that inherently life doesn't serve a fucking goddamn purpose. Inherently, it is just a stupid goddamn molecule replicating itself, and if you choose to invest your welfare in that molecule, that's your goddamn business. But as soon as you start investing somebody else's welfare in that fucking molecule, well then you've got to have at least some kind of rational explanation for why that needs to take place.
They're addicted morons, and they maybe don't have the right to choose whether they want to live or not.
Yeah, well, again, you keep missing the subject. It's not about whether they have the right to live or not. It really isn't, Great Tex. All right? We know how these things play out over time. All right? And so over time, this is your philosophy will be buried by logic. And there is, the necessity of some sort of imposition will only take place when the consensus is strong. And the only people who are breaking the law are somebody who has contempt for civilization and social order. So it's only the rapists and the murderers and the assholes who need right. The only people who need the right to rape are assholes. The only people who need the right to murder are assholes. And eventually, human beings will understand the only people who need to do biological experiments imposing life on other sentient beings are assholes.
I know, but ask homeless people whether they think it's worth it or not. But no, don't bother asking them. Just decide that it isn't worth it.
Well, you're already deciding it is worth it, you stupid fuck. Don't you understand that every motherfucker who has a kid has decided it's worth it? And they're imposing that judgment on somebody else? Can't you figure that out? That's the first imposition, you stupid fuck? That's the first insult, like in our fucking goddamn, the war between us. You started it, you stupid fat fuck.
Homeless person, they want to live or not? And I said, well, have you? And the answer was, well, no, I haven't, no. Oh, I can imagine. It's like, what?
So this is what you're doing. You won't talk about antinatalism. You say, I'm not going to talk about this subject. Then you make a video that's on the subject, but it's not on the subject because you've completely perverted the subject to some sort of argument where people are going around saying to homeless people, I'm going to kill you for no good fucking reason. And if that's going to take place, again, the argument is the whole fucking life game is going down. It's about all those animals trapped out there, you stupid fuck. It's not about you personally. You think you're more valuable than a trillion sentient beings? Your fucking opinion? So if there was some social project of inherent and intrinsic good value, like a Hoover Dam or something, if little fucking weasel Great Tex says I'm not going to move, the whole thing should be just shut down, and we should just pack it up and say, oh, well, we can't have progress because that fucker says no. Well, fuck that. That's not the way the real world works, shithead.
You can imagine what. It's almost better than imagining people's opinions. Asking them their opinions.
Well, do you have to do that every fucking time? Why don't you go to a nursing home and ask their fucking opinions? Why don't we get some honest appraisal about exactly what life is worth? Alright? Instead of all these lies. So why don't you ask why don't you go to the hospitals and the nursing homes and solicit opinions from the people who really matter, okay, instead of the assholes caught up in the middle of their cheese doodle chasing bullshit. Ask the people who are paying for this shit. Ask all the dead people in World War II whether it was fucking worth it or not. Go ask them whether it was worth it to watch their kids killed and their husband killed and then to slowly die of some horrid disease and some horrible conditions. Go ask those dead people if it was fucking worth it.
You know, giving them the respect, you know, caring enough about people to respect that they have choice. You know,
they have the choice to impose. You really can't. So another person who's going to say this idea that somehow you can put those words together. You have the choice to impose. I mean, fuck. You can't figure out how stupid that is?
That makes me a villain as well, because I've said, you know, as long as people consent to sex, then it's not rape.
Well, again, we're not where did I consent, you stupid fuck? Where did any fucking child born to morons have any consent? Is the average African, did he consent to being born in poverty? Did he consent to be genocidally macheted to death? Did he consent to fucking goddamn malaria? Did he consent to any of this shit? There's a little kid right now sniffing glue, you know, on some dirty African street. Did he consent to any of this shit?
If a gang of men consent to raping someone, then that's okay by me, because they've got consent from each other. It's like, but the person that's being raped and being made a victim.
Well, that's exactly your argument, you dumb fuck. You say because a man and a woman consent to have a child that we've done all we have to do. We can now impose on the child. I mean, you're so stupid. You don't know that you just made my argument for me? Dumb retard.
Their consent. I just said it's all about consent, didn't I? Did I say that? Did I say if there's consent in it, it's not rape? So if that person doesn't consent, then it's rape? Didn't I say that? But obviously, no. What I'm arguing is that if a majority of people agree to rape, then it's not rape. Just like if they
Well, that's not the standard, you asshole, but it's the standard of conduct, of when you're allowed to act on your opinion. Slavery was wrong long before a majority said it was wrong. And the minority that protested and argued it and said it was stupid and shitty was right. Okay? And I'm going to argue to you right now that right now we can't impose antinatalism. All right? Because we're a minority. We don't have the authority to do it. All right? But when we do have the authority, it'll be the right thing to do. Just as it would be the right thing to stop it. Slavery 100 or 200 or 300 years before it was done. It would have been the right thing to do. Well, it would be the right thing to do it right the fuck now. Okay, but we don't have the power to do it right now. Just like they didn't have the power to end slavery.
Natalists believe if the majority of people agree that the world should be ended, or agree that non-believers should be killed.
I mean, this is such a lame argument. No antinatalist is arguing from popularity. They're arguing from the fact, okay, that their right understanding of the world cannot possibly be implemented until they have that majority, you stupid shit. God, this is incredible. We've made arguments defending why we're right, asshole. Why don't you argue with those arguments instead of playing this insipidly stupid game?
It's okay to go and kill them. You don't need their consent. It's not really consent.
Again, the only people who are going to get killed are people who insist on exercising their right to rape a child by enforcing it into existence and presuming they know what's best. It's for what's good for it. They're the ones controlling and imposing, asshole. The antinatal is stopping the imposition, and that's the fucking basic fact of it. Unravel that simple truth.
Delusional addicted people. You know, don't bother asking them their opinion because they're addicted. But as I say, it all seems to be projection, whining, crybaby stuff.
Well, I think you just did a bunch of whining crybaby stuff, didn't you? You just did a bunch of whining crybaby. Oh, you mean you're going to force me to accept that my psychology is full of shit? Oh, yeah, that's what's going to happen, you asshole. Yeah. Yeah, you're going to be buried on a big whiny ash heap, you stupid fuck.
You're a whiner and a crybaby. It's just like, I'm trying to hold you to some objective standard here. You're claiming you've got objective truth, and that's I'm trying to hold you to what I perceive to be the most objective standard, and you keep on failing.
Yeah, right. And exactly how did you do that? Again, you did it by saying something as stupid as the choice to impose. Yeah, fuck you.
You ignore positive emotions, but dwell upon negative ones.
Yeah, well, that argument's been made over and over and over again. No, the argument is simply that they're different emotions. Okay, one of them is purely a contrivance of illusion, of desire. Okay, it's made by the desire. The food has no value unless you manifest the hunger. It's the hunger that makes it valuable. So it's already creating a positive from the illusionary state of a negative circumstance, which is desire. All right, and the other thing is just plainly, okay, unpleasant discomfort is the lack of comfort. It is fundamentally different. The extremes of discomfort are what we call suffering, and it's qualitatively a different thing. And that's the argument, bozo. Your desires are trivial and illusionary, and the suffering is real. And there's a game being played. The game has no function but to harm and destroy pieces, to consume them, to grind them up. And that's all it does. Reproduction for the sake of reproduction. Make a mess, clean up half the mess. These are the metaphors. There's no gain in this game. There's no potential to serve a purpose except to clean up the mess we make. All right? There's no point in creating a need that doesn't need to exist. You can't unravel that simple statement. What logical sense is there in creating a need that doesn't need to exist?
Whilst decrying people who dwell upon emotions. It's like, well, sure, we should take all emotions out of it if you believe emotions are invalid forms of data collection or
yeah, well, nobody's made that argument. Our emotions are testimony. It's evidence of things. All right? Which the argument is that emotions shouldn't decide philosophy. You shouldn't figure out whether something has value just because based on how it makes you feel. You have to evaluate based on the truth of it. Okay? A logical perception of it, not an emotional perception. Not a perception defined by your conditioned sensibilities.
Interpretation. So let's take all the emotion out of it. And if we take all the emotion out, what does any of it matter? You know, it's only suffering, it's only cancer, it's only homelessness. Why get so? It's only sex. Why get so upset about it? You know.
Well, I'm not even going to argue this. Like I said, this isn't the premise of anybody arguing on the internet. This is just straw man crap. You're creating a completely fake philosophy that you're arguing with. Nobody's making that argument. So, yeah, that's your way of diminishing it. That's your nihilistic nonsense. That's not being argued by anyone.
I mean, isn't that the case, objectively speaking? Of course. I don't really believe in objectivity.
Yeah, well, again, nobody who's an objectivist would ever say something that's stupid. Okay, it's decided that the evidence is in. Every sentient creature experiences this positive and negative sensation thing, you dumb fuck. So you can't make an argument that it doesn't exist to somebody who's an objectivist. That's just idiotic. It's idiotic. It's not even a straw man. It's a nothing man. That's nothing.
People tend to cling to these things just for the authority that it gives them. The authority to say to a cancer victim.
Oh, and you're just a little weasel. Yeah, you're a fat, ugly motherfucker with a tiny dick. And this is the only way you can gain any kind of authority in the world is you got to play these silly little psych games. And what really bugs you about me is that I'm beating you at it. I'm fucking revealing that the only thing that gives you any kind of satisfaction in life, playing little witticisms and little mind games with people, I'm revealing that it's all a magic trick and you're just pulling your fat pigeons out of your fat wrist. And that's all a goddamn game and a little schemy little plan of your simpleton little petty mind. Okay, this is the only satisfaction you get in life is, well, all I got is words because I can't do anything else. I have no other talent.
You shouldn't be alive. The authority to say to a homeless person, you shouldn't be alive. You know, authority to say to someone.
Well, why shouldn't you have the authority to say anything you want to people? Okay, that's a whole different subject. The point is nobody's doing that. What they're saying to the homeless person is that you have no right to impose life just because you think you have biology that gives you authority. Biology gives you nothing. Biology might give you the ability. It doesn't give you the authority. You have to engineer that authority. You have to explain where you derive it from. There's no God who gave it to you.
Your decision, your choices don't count because you're addicted to something. That kind of authority.
Well, again, what? Your choice to impose. Yes, that decision doesn't count. That's right. That's an invalid decision. You can't choose to rape or murder. What is murder, Grey Text, but merely denying somebody their right to invest their welfare in their judgment? That's what murder is. Murder is denying somebody their right to play out the rest of their game. All right? And it's the very same thing. To impose life without consent on somebody who doesn't want it, all right, is effectively the same thing as denying them their right to be left alone.
And it's a kind of authority that I hope cultists never get. So
It won't matter, asshole. Technology is going to take care of this anyway, one way or the other. You can either die hard or you can die with some dignity and grace. Those are the only two choices for the human race. All right? Die like a stupid, ugly, dumb bug that you are, or use your intelligence, see the writing on the wall, do the right thing, have some class and some dignity, all right, and die with your boots on, so to speak.
Now, could you imagine Scientologists with that kind of authority? Can you imagine fucking right-wing douchebags with that kind of authority?
Yeah, well, newsflash, asshole. Right-wing douchebags have had that kind of authority for thousands of years, you stupid fuck.
You're Mexican, obviously. You won't want to live. We're not going to ask.
Oh yeah, so now
you don't even speak English. But actually, if you speak English, we're just going to assume that you.
Yeah, some more fair cop by you, right? You child molesting motherfucker. You know, so now you're just gonna keep playing a game, even though people have spoken clearly. There's no eugenics purpose here. There's no, certain people will breed and certain people won't breed. No, that statement hasn't been made by anybody. Nobody's come close to making even any argument even close to that. And yet you play this game. And this is what you call having, taking the high ground. Yeah, you fucking stupid fat pig, you drunken fat Scotsman. Fuck you, you moron. Go eat some more lead chips. You apparently were raised on them.
We don't, because we can imagine that. You know, no time for the average Mexican. Well,
please have more babies so I can molest them. Have more babies so I can molest them. I like to molest babies. I like babies.
With my life now. But
yeah, well, you're not going to have much of a life, you fat pig. You're going to die of a big fat aneurysm. Ha, 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 ha. And I'm going to take a piss on your metaphorical grave. And I'll take a shit on it. You know, I might do some other things on it. You know, just for the fun of it. I'm going to abuse you in effigy. Dead effigy. So fuck you, you lying, slandering pig.